So right away, we got the head of the Hardcore Sports Network himself coming in to say hello. Before we finish with the intro, so hello, happy Friday to you. I know you got your stream later tonight with the 76ers and Hornets. Best of luck with that stream right there, and thank you for coming in to say hello quickly. So now, everybody, welcome to Nikki Steve's Eagles versus Packers Week 12 preview. And if you're new to the Hardcore Sports Network or new to Nikki Steve's channel, please do me a favor, drop a like and hit the subscribe button on both Hardcore Sports Network and Nikki Steve's channel. So let's get right into it. So for the Week 12 matchup for the Philadelphia Eagles, we come in fresh off escaping against the Indianapolis Colts. We got a home game, primetime Sunday night, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time against the Green Bay Packers. And for this one, I'm going a little bit retro here. I got the Jerome Brown jersey right here, number 99. This one right here. So we're going into this matchup 9-1, fresh off one against the Colts. Packers come to this 4-7, fresh off their loss to the Titans, 27-17 on Thursday Night Football last week. So let's get into it. So we are 6.5-point favorites going into this. And based off the way the two teams have played, with the way the Eagles and Packers have played, certainly the Eagles should be the favorites. However, 6.5 points, though, I mean, considering the way the Eagles have played the past two games, that might be a little bit of a stretch right there, 6.5 points. But hey, because, we struggled against the Commanders, and even last week against the Colts, we won, but yeah, it was not a good victory. I talked about that one on Tuesday right there. But here we are. We are back now at home in prime time. We got to make up for that primetime Monday night game at home against the Commanders. So let's get into it. So for this one right here, obviously the Packers are a struggling team. You got Aaron Rodgers. He looks more like a liability right there. If you see highlights of him playing, you can tell some of his throws are off this year. Now, I know he's got a thumb injury, which he was confirmed earlier this week. Says he's not going to have surgery on it. However, regardless of the reason why, his throwing mechanics are off. Okay, so clearly the Packers are not the same team this year. As far as running the ball goes, A.J. Dillon, he hasn't been doing so good this year. You look at him running. I know last year he had pretty decent, but what was it? So how many yards? What is he averaging this season? So I saw A.J. Dillon right there. Against the Titans, he had 6 carries for 13 yards. Let's not forget his rookie year. He had 2 touchdowns, 124 performances in the 124 yards in that snow game against the Titans his rookie year. But last week, 6 carries for 13 yards, and he hasn't been doing too good this year. I mean, last year, remember, he was shedding tackles right there. He was averaging 3.8 yards after contact last year. But this year, he's not looking too good right now this year. So they've taken a step. A.J. Dillon's taken a step back. Rodgers isn't playing too hot this year. So it's not looking that good right there. I know the Packers' O-line's batter, and they're not doing that great right here. But last year, they were missing a few key pieces of that O-line. They were still winning games and still playing good last year. But this year, it's been a little bit different story for the Packers. So look at the way they've been playing and what they've been doing. It's not looking too good. Let's take a look at the Packers' schedule, see how they fared this year. So 23-7 win or loss to the Vikings opening day. It's terrible right there. The highest rushing was 49 yards by Aaron Jones. Then they did beat the Bears, which they always do, so that's not saying much. And week 3, they narrowly squeaked one out against the Bucs right there, 14-12. But remember, Tampa Bay was struggling early in the season too. And you only had the highest was Aaron Jones with 36 yards. They did get the overtime win to go to 3-1 against the Patriots, 27-24. But then after that 3-1 start, 5 straight losses. Week 5 to the Giants at London. Then you got week 6 against the Jets. Aaron Rodgers was trying to force plays like he was Carson Wentz. And the running game didn't get going much in either of those two games. The Commanders game, you had Aaron Jones at 23 total yards. I mean, that was horrific. Then the Bills, they lost to them as well, 27-17, same score they lost there. Then they got embarrassed by the Lions 15-9 to drop their fifth straight game. Then they did pull out that win against the Cowboys at Lambeau, but that was a little bit of a fluky-ish win right there. And then last week they lost to the Titans right there. So it's not looking too hot for the Packers going into this matchup. And we got Coach Dante coming in. What is up? Hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving. Thank you for coming by the second straight day. So when we look at the Packers, though, they have been struggling this season ever since week 4. It's been a continuous struggle. Rodgers playing more like a liability. Some people are even calling for Jordan Love to get a start at some point to see what he can do. The point of what I'm getting at is here, Packers aren't looking too good of a team. So obviously the Eagles are the favorites headed into this one. However, based off the way the Eagles offense looked last week, you got to wonder, you got to hope they're able to make some adjustments right here headed into this matchup. Because even though they're the favorites and they're clearly playing on paper a far inferior team, you cannot just assume the Eagles are to come through with the win and dominate this one right here. And the Eagles, I know last week without Goddard, but they were struggling a little bit. Shane Steichen was struggling to make some adjustments right there. Now, the defense did a good job last week with Sue and Linval Joseph, right? But I feel like we can do more of the same right here. Stop Aaron Jones right there, because we know he struggled a little bit this year too. So as long as the Eagles defense comes prepared the way they did last week, we should be able to stop the run and we should be able to shut them down. So my biggest concern for the Eagles this week, based off the past couple weeks, is offense right there. And remember, we did have a couple fumbles too against the Colts. We had that one strip sack and that A.J. Brown fumble. So we got to do a better job offensively is my concern coming into this game that we clearly got to do better with. And the Eagles, man, and I saw an article yesterday where they proposed some interesting ideas on what the Eagles could do to approach this. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull up the article and put it in the chat. There, give me 1 second. I'm going to have to go find that article that I was reading right there yesterday, which there's some ideas on some offensive approaches the Eagles could take. So 1 moment right there, and I'll pull it up, and I'll put the link to it in the chat. So it'll be just a minute. But yeah, so there are some ideas that came out. I'm going to read it. One thing the Eagles could do right here that's possibly different is they could try to line up 2 or 3 tight ends right there. You could even try to go 4 or 5 receiver set. Those are some things the Eagles could do right here. So the article I saw it on Twitter, it's insidetheiggies.com. So what I'm going to do is post it in the chat right there under my channel so you guys can check it out for yourselves. So there it is. It's on the Hardcore Sorts Network run right now. If you guys want to check it out yourself. So some things right there, like I said, they could try more 4 or 5 receiver sets, maybe go 2 or 3 tight ends. Maybe they could try for the run game, go from a power formation, try to mix it up. You guys can let me know if you agree with any of these suggestions or if you have your own suggestions on what you think the Eagles could try to do offensively to improve upon last week's effort. Let me know in the chat. Be glad to see. So, yeah, another thing right there. They could try to run some arrow routes with Zach Pascal a little bit right there. Maybe to try, mix up. Maybe go with some wheel routes with Devontae Smith. Some things they could do a little bit to try and mix it up offensively so they can improve upon their efforts last week. So, yeah, I don't know. You guys can let me know if you think those would be some good ways to do it or not. But hold on 1 second. So, yeah, I do have a little bit of a stuffy nose right there, but I apologize for that. I don't want that to be a disruption right there. And there's a link to the article right there if you guys want to check it out for yourselves. But yeah, so the Eagles, they're going to have to adjust right here without Dallas Goedert being in lineup, specifically at tight end. Whether that be 2 or 3 tight end sets, or trying to specifically use Tyree Jackson in the end zone, or trying to, mix up, trying to use Pascal, Devontae Smith a little different, really. the Eagles are going to have to make some adjustments right there in the absence of Goddard. So hopefully they worked on that this week. At least Shane Steichen worked on it. And based off the way the Eagles, based off the attitude that's been taken in the locker room, I'm feeling like they're going to have to make some adjustments, right? I feel like confident they're going to, but all I'm going to do is hope they're going to do it right here. Because even though we are the favorites, even though the Packers are a struggling team, remember, they did pull off a win a couple weeks ago against the Cowboys. So let's not count this team out. Let's not assume they can't pull off an upset, because they showed they can pull off an upset against the Cowboys. So let's not sleep on this team just yet. And one other thing I did upload a short on my channel. I saw the black uniforms with the black helmets. Those look cool. I've been a fan of the black helmets, as you can see by the logo in the top right corner right there. I'm looking forward to seeing those helmets right there for the first time. So that's going to be cool right there. Can't wait for it. But hey, it's not a fashion contest out on the field. It's still a football game, so we're going to have to go in there and get it done. Now, I'm going to move on to the second. Let's take a look now at the injury report for these two teams. Right there. So I'm going to pull up the injury report. So here's where we stand as of right now. So as of right now, you got Josh Jobe. He was a limited participant in practice Wednesday and Thursday. Just for the record, none of these guys have been confirmed yet to be, their game status is not confirmed yet, but this is so AJ. So we also got James Bradbury. He's been resting though. And we got Devontae Smith. He's had a knee injury. He had limited participation Thursday, but it doesn't look to be anything serious right there. It looks like he'll be in. So for the Packers right there, got Jair Alexander's had a groin injury, but he was a full participant the past 2 days at practice right there. Got David Back. Let me try it. David Bakhtiari, offensive tackle, knee. He did not practice on Wednesday, limited Thursday. And all these guys for the Packers, just like the Eagles, they're unspecified yet. You got Romeo Dobbs' ankle injury, missed the past 2 days of practice, receiver. You got offensive tackle Ellington Jenkins. He was a limited Wednesday or limited third yesterday, did not participate Wednesday. Aaron Jones has been limited the past couple days. Rodgers was a full participant Thursday. And we know he's been dealing with that thumb injury right there for a while, but he has still been playing, so I'm not expecting anything less from Aaron Rodgers. Right, you got Mercedes Lewis. He did not participate right there. It seems, but so far it looks like he's resting. You have Robert Tonyan, another tight end with illness. He was not a participant on Thursday. So that's what the injury report looks at as of now. We're still going to have to see what happens right there. So let's see. Yeah, that's that. So we're also going to take a look right here while I'm still at it. It's going to skip ahead for us. Right now, I'm going to take a look right now at the Packers, statistically, how they've been faring as a team. So far, no noticeable is they struggle to convert offensively on third down. They're 55 for 133 on third down. They're 4 for 18 on fourth down. And they do run primarily pass plays, as we know. But Rodgers, he's at times looked like a liability, even though statistically he's still playing okay. But if you actually watch highlights of him playing, you can see his throwing mechanics. They're off. Thumb injury or not, they're off. And the Packers have given up 21 sacks as well. But so far they're not really looking. But so far their third down, fourth down conversions and their offensive line are the biggest concerns for them. And based off the way this Eagles defense played last week, they should be able to come and do the same here. You get Linval Joseph, Ndamukong Suh, continue right where they left off last week, shutting down Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon and getting some pressure on Rodgers. That'll help us out a lot right there. Because if we come in and we get some pressure on Aaron Rodgers, trust me, he's going to fold. Because you've been seeing it all season. Anytime Aaron Rodgers is under pressure, whether it be against the Jets or the Commanders, when his offensive line folds, trust me, Rodgers folds to the pressure. We've been seeing it all season long. So if we can do that here and get some pressure on Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be a long Sunday night for that Packers offense, believe me. It will be a long, I emphasize again, long night for them. So that's certainly what we need right there. Jonathan Gannon, last week was good. We got to keep that momentum going into this week to get that win, bump our record up to 10-1, take that momentum over to the Titans game, because even though the Titans are in a weak division, they're still playing pretty decent, though, recent weeks, though. Even though I'm still seeing the Titans as an inevitable playoff elimination who's benefited from a softer schedule, I wouldn't sleep on, at this point, I wouldn't sleep on anybody, regardless whether it's the Packers, the Titans, the Cowboys, the Giants. Hell, even the Saints, I wouldn't even sleep on them at this point. So at this point, we're fighting for home field advantage. We got to take every game seriously. But let's not get off subject here. This is mainly about the Packers game. So that's going to tie into my keys to victory. So kind of hinted at it a little bit, but let's just recap the one part I already went to. Get some pressure defensively, okay? Get some pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Force him to make those bad throws. Get some sacks on him. If you do that, it'll definitely help out right there. It'll make it easier for the offense right there. So that's one thing we got to do. Obviously, we're going to need Linval, Joseph, Ndamukong Suh to play factors that D-line, both stopping the run and getting some pressure right there. So that's one of our keys right there to victory. Another key to victory, alluded to, got to adjust offensively without Goddard. Whatever it is we got to do things differently. Maybe try to run the ball a little bit more, try to suit the run game to Miles Sanders' strengths. Maybe start to change some of our routes up, try to mix it up a little bit there, but we got to do better offensively right there. So that's one thing, we got to do. Obviously, we got to get, A.J. Brown involved, try to get Zach Pascal a little more involved, Devontae Smith, obviously, and maybe try to mix up a little bit, 2-3-10 sets, 4 or 5 receivers, something. We just got to make some adjustments and do better offensively. And here's another key right here. We got to play more disciplined football, okay? Because we didn't do that against the Colts. I know that's a repetitive term I use on here about disciplined football. I know you hear it a lot, but I emphasize it because we got to do better with it. We didn't do that good playing disciplined football the last 2 games. Even against the Colts, those first couple drives, like I said back in the recap a couple days ago, you had those several penalties right there that called back big plays early in the game. We can't afford to have those penalties right there calling back big plays, okay? So please don't do that right there. Stay away from the ineligible man downfield penalties, all the stupid holding calls, the PIs. Just play a bit more disciplined game, okay? And please hold the ball, okay? Got to do a better job protecting the ball, specifically the Eagles receivers, because we had 2 noticeable fumbles in the past 2 games. The one from A.J. Brown that was noticeable, and the one from Quez Watkins against the Commanders. Yes, we also did have, the missed face mask on Goddard. We still had that fumble from Watkins that could have changed that right there. And the fumble by A.J. Brown, hey, we're lucky that didn't cost us, but it's one of those things that could cost the team in the future. So let's play more disciplined football right there, okay? So those are my main keys to victory right there. Or do a good job shutting down the run game and getting pressure on Rodgers. Make some adjustments offensively. And play some disciplined football. Those are my main 3 keys to victory. And another key is we got to keep the O-line healthy, obviously. Because that's an important key right there. You keep those offensive line guys on the field. We can't afford to let those guys get injured because we saw it earlier in the season when we lost some goal line guys for a quarter there against the Cardinals. We struggled. So let's keep that O-line healthy too. So that's another key right there to victory. So those are my 4 main keys to victory right there. If you guys are still in here, you want to let me know what some of your keys to victory are in the chat, you are more than welcome to do so. So really, that's about it right there. So to everyone that tunes in, thank you for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying your Friday. And again, I'll give an important reminder since it is a weekend day. If you plan on going out today to have some drinks and have some fun, please do so safely. Call an Uber, Lyft, designated sober driver, or a taxi if you plan on drinking alcohol. Do not go drink and drive and run the risk of hurting somebody. So please Do so safely. Okay, have a great Friday. So I'll be back here next week on Tuesday to give my recap of the Eagles-Packers game. You guys right there, you can still check my channel. I'll be uploading some short vids right there about Eagles, 76ers, and other sports-related content during the time in between. So you definitely want to check out my channel so you don't miss out on that. So have a wonderful day. It's Nicky Stee signing off, and I'll see you soon.